I think it's one of those films which really has challenged me as a person and as an actor. Personally, physically, and somewhere down the line, given me a lot of hope spiritually as well. I actually almost refused the film.
Yeah.
So I told Revati at that point of time that I don't know whether I want to do this film or not. But I'll hear you out, but I don't know whether I want to do this film or not. We did it. And after the scene got over, I think I kept crying for another 10 minutes. Karan was crying by the end of it. I was crying by the end of it. And we were both hugging each other and crying. So yeah, it took a little while for it all to subside. And now you're really making it sound like I only do films where I'm mother. I'm playing.
No.
I've stood at Yug's, I think every musical, and Nysa's, all of her stage performances where, she's in the middle of like 15 other girls and I'm standing over there and clapping and she's
Hello Kajol, welcome to Screen.
Thank you. My pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So we're here to talk about your film Ma.
Right.
But I was thinking that you've played such incredible Ma characters
I've played quite a few mothers, haven't I? Yeah.
I have the full list. So I want to a little throwback. And I want to ask you, the first time you played a mother was K3G? Or before that? No.
I think so.
K3G, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but you weren't like a real life mom till then.
No, I wasn't.
But then the next time you played it in Fana, you were.
Yeah, well, I'm happy because I don't remember my filmography, but you remember it, thank God.
But is it very different when when you have become a mother to play a mother on screen as opposed to when you did it in K3G?
I think most women have that slightly motherly tendency, I would say. But yes, body language does come more naturally after you have your own child. And there are lots of things that you do instinctively as a mother that you would not as a person who has never had kids before.
When we'll think of K3G, we think of the scene where you get up and run to the stage and बोले सीटी तो मैं मारूंगी मेरा बेटा पहली बार perform कर रहा है. Are you like that in real life?
I am, and trust me, it really embarrasses my children.
Yeah.
I mean, my kids have much more severe reactions to it than that poor child ever did.
Can you recall any incident?
Lots. I've stood at Yug's, I think every musical, and Nysa's, all of her stage performances where, she's in the middle of like 15 other girls and I'm standing over there and clapping and she's so बहुत सारी बार हुआ है. And so lots of times really.
Yeah. I think another time you played a mom was in You, Me or Hum with Jay as your husband and director.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Yeah. It still scares me. I don't know if you remember the scene where you're pregnant and you're skipping the ropes because you've forgotten, because you have Alzheimer's and you've forgotten you're pregnant.
Yeah.
Do you remember how tough was it to shoot that scene and just to think of a mother who has forgotten that she is going to be a mother?
Yeah, it was scary, and it was scary for everybody around us as well. It was a frightening thing to see, not for me so much as an actor, because as an actor you're just doing it. You're not really worried about के क्या होने वाला है, क्योंकि आपको पता है वहाँ पे लगा हुआ है, it's fake. But to see it on screen was just gave you this real shocking feel to it. Yeah, it was scary.
Yeah. Equally scary was in My Name is Khan when your son dies. Yeah. And it still gives me goosebumps how you cried in that scene.
Yeah, me too.
So, did it come to you naturally, or was there something you did in that scene because it was so visceral?
It was visceral, and I remember shooting for that scene, and I remember telling Karan that I'm only going to give you one take, so you better make sure that you have all your cameras lined up. Don't ask me for close-ups. Don't ask me to do this again because I don't think I can do this again. And we did it, and after the scene got over, I think I kept crying for another 10 minutes. Karan was crying by the end of it. I was crying by the end of it. And we were both hugging each other and crying. So, yeah, it took a little while for it all to subside. Yeah.
And I'm sorry I'm going dark, but in We Are Family, you play a mother who's terminally ill and she has to give.
Now you're really making it sound like I only do films where I'm mother. I'm playing
No. I have picked out
mother.
those. As opposed to Salam Venki, where your child is,
Yeah.
terminally
So
ill.
you're right. I've only been playing mothers.
But how difficult it is to play a mother who's like, it's almost like a star-crossed relationship that it's not going to last, but you're
From
still
Salam
playing
Venki.
it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In both We Are Family
in
as
both,
well. Yeah.
I think it's in Salam Venki, it's the opposite really. It was it was like my worst nightmare come to life really. It's you just can't do anything about it, and you have to watch your child as is, with a wonderful personality, with everything going for him, just waste away and die in front of you. So I think that is something that as a parent is probably your worst nightmare. And I actually almost refused the film.
Yeah.
So I told Revati at that point of time that I don't know whether I want to do this film or not. But I'll hear you out, but I don't know whether I want to do this film or not. But of course, then I heard her out, and I actually went ahead and did the film because she's such a fabulous director that I thought I deserved her.
Yeah, even in We Are Family, just to train Karina's character to be mom to your children.
Yeah.
It's such a tough space to be in as a character.
Absolutely. There are so many nuances, so many layers underneath it, all of it. But yeah, that was also quite a challenging role to play.
Yeah, but enough of darkness, I think. How fun was it to play a helicopter mom and helicopter Ila?
It was great fun. It was
Are you a helicopter
really good
mom?
fun. I was not anymore that much. I think because my children have grown up and they'd probably kill me if I even tried to be it. But I was at one point. I definitely was. And I think it's natural for most mothers or who have that responsibility thrust onto them, and she was a single mother at that point of time, for her to have to manage everything on her own. From so you're so used to managing everything on your own that you don't know where to draw the line as far as independence is concerned. So that's something that I learned from life also. So it was easy for me to identify with Ila.
Yeah. And finally, when you played a mom in Tribhang, she is going through her own mommy issues. And,
exactly.
And then she figures out that she's doing the same thing to her daughter, like subconsciously. How have you dealt with that as a mom, to not let your children get stuck in the same patterns that maybe you did? To have them a mind of their own.
I think you can't stop certain things. You can't, regardless of however much you try. There are certain things that you can't stop. But what you can do is probably give them different reasons, to have therapy, rather than the same reasons that you had therapy for. No, I'm just kidding, honestly. I think what you can do as a parent is just simply be... Because today's children are very different from what we were. My children today at 9 and 10 were far more informed, intelligent, and aware of the world than I was at 9 and 10. So I had no clue at 9 and 10, what the world was about, or the world was much safer then. Now, because of the internet, because of everything, it's a completely different world. So today's children have to be brought up differently from what we were. So we've tried to keep that in mind, keep the changing world in mind, and not be too rigid about not allowing the difference to make too much of a difference in our upbringing.
Everyone thought that your daughter is going to become an actor, but I think your son got a head start by voicing
My son has done the dubbing, which he's very proud of, and all, but he's only 14 years old.
But did you watch the film? How was...
I haven't watched the film. I have seen parts of it, but I haven't watched the film.
Speaking of Ma, how different is your role as a mom going to be in this one?
I think it's going to be very, very different because in this film, circumstances are different. The world is different. The circumstances are much more extreme in comparison to anything that I have played before. As a mother, as we have come to know through your entire question answer phase. But I think it's one of those films which really has challenged me as a person and as an actor. Personally, physically, and somewhere down the line, given me a lot of hope spiritually as well. So yeah, I think it's going to be one of those films that I will forever or ever, deeply appreciate that I have done.
Yeah. Speaking of motherhood, what have you learned from your mom, Tanuja, that you've incorporated into your style of parenting?
I think the biggest learning that I got from my mom was when she sat me down and she told me that you have to learn how to think for yourself. And, you have to learn how to take responsibility for your own actions. And I hope that I have made sure that both my children understand that particular part of being an adult is, taking responsibility for your life, for your actions, and living with the consequences, whatever that may be. Credit, discredit, both are yours.
When we met during Tanaji, you were telling me about how there was a scene where you were lighting a diya, but all you could see was a green screen because it was all VFX.
Yeah.
And that you said that it was one of your first encounters with VFX.
Yeah.
I believe there's a lot of that in here.
There's a lot of it.
So how
really
do you?
A lot of it.
Yeah, since you're such a, you improvise a lot. You're a spontaneous actor. So how do you improvise when there's green screen all around?
You can't, because green screen doesn't give you a place to improvise with anything. You really can't. You have no choice in the matter that you have to look in a particular way. You have to raise your hand in a particular way. The body language has to be the same. Everything has to be the same. So improvisation really has no place with green screen. Yes, up to a certain point you can improvise, maybe if you get that much leeway, but it's not much. It's really not much. And it's very different acting against a green screen than it is to act with actors.
Yeah,
it is very, very different. It's a different form of working only, I think, altogether. So it took a little getting used to. You have to wrap your head around it a little bit. It takes a day or two. But, and you have to have complete faith in your director that he knows what he's doing, because you definitely don't know what you're doing.
But does the whole mechanical process come in the way of a organic performance?
Depends on the scene, really. For us, it was a lot of action. So it wasn't as much as yes, it was performance. There was a lot of performance in it, but I think it was manageable. It was on a manageable level. Now, I don't know about if we had to do a dramatic film with so much of green screen, whether that would affect our performance or not.
Yeah. When we met during trial, I think you spoke about how you
I had children in that one also.
Yeah. I missed 1 or 2 out. I'm sorry. I thought you'd be done by now. But you spoke about how you're the queen of taking breaks.
And now comebacks
also. But now, this year, I think you have 3 releases. There's Sarzameen, and then there's one that you've done with Prabhudeva.
That will not be releasing this year.
Oh, this year. But still,
yes.
3 in 2 years is
quite a lot. I was actually discussing with somebody. It's like I've been working for 34 years, and my 33rd year, I've been working more than I have in the last God knows how many years.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's time for me to take a break, right?
But how did you manage it? How were these stories so tempting that you couldn't say no, and you were like,
They all of it just kind of came together at the same time, and I didn't want to not do them because of a time constraint or something like that. So yeah, I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I'm very, very happy with everything that's coming up.
You should have thought about us. How will we call it a comeback then? If you do 3 in 2 years.
I know, exactly.
But in Sarzameen, you work with Ibrahim Ali Khan, and you worked with Saif in like 30 years ago, almost.
Yeah, approximately.
Yeah. So, do you see a lot of Saif in him?
I honestly cannot talk about it right now. I'm not allowed to. So we shall keep that for our next conversation.
Yeah. Speaking of 30 years, it's 30 years of DDLJ.
Oh, which is 30 years.
Yeah,
I was just
going
wondering.
to
I
be.
thought it was going to be 28 years, but 30 years of DDLJ.
Yeah. So obviously it's redundant to ask your memories about the film. But when you think of the Kajol that played Simran and the Kajol who's playing, who's in Ma right now, how has that Kajol grown from then to now?
Oh, she's grown so much. She's grown exponentially, I think. And my life has pretty much been out there on the internet. So there's nothing about my life today that you haven't seen. But yes, I think that if Simran was, a bud, I'm definitely a full-blown flower by now.
Yeah. Finally, you spoke about how you had a spiritual connect to Ma. So would you like to talk about that and what is your hope from this film? Are you very confident?
I wouldn't say confident. I would say I'm confident that it's a good film. I'm very confident that what I'm presenting is going to be something that I will always be very, very proud of. And I'm very happy with the way the film has turned out. So that is my confidence.
Okay. Looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.